This is your daily market review for Monday, May 8th, 2023. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at XP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review, Monday, May 8th, 2023. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Let's get into it. Market is rather confusing, frustrating, as we always say. The Monday after a week is usually the least important. Tuesday usually ends up being more of a trend day. Monday can be a little choppy. Either way, it's been rather confusing. You're seeing a lot of anomalies in the market. Just let's dig into the evidence and make sure we're doing the right things. And again, no matter what, whatever you do, whenever you're trading, define your risk, have stops, and know that you can be wrong, because this is a probability-based game where the goal of the market makers is to do what? Take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. If you're new to the channel, want to join the Discord room, a link is in the description below. If you're follow on Twitter, we're always posting what we think are the most interesting plays, charts of things that we're watching. It's just, trying to do everything that we can. In general, I don't know why it's interesting that charts didn't show up on these, but yeah, as you might know, if you follow, again, always trying to pull out the information, because again, right now, what is the next big piece of information coming? Wednesday, Thursday, CPI followed by PPI, and then you also have budget talks. Those are going on. So those events and headlines, rumors will affect the market. If you're new to the YouTube channel, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do tons of live reviews constantly for the purpose of just keeping people updated. And then also there's tons of education on the channel and also on my website, thetradingagent.com. The information here on the Back to Basics education series goes from beginner, intermediate to advanced. There's tons of videos, almost 60 videos. So, FedWatch tool, what's going to happen here in June? Again, if you don't have this link, save it. As of right now, it's looking like a pause. And yeah, at this, we talk about easing means the market's going to crash. Not crash, but the feds are scared. Pause is kind of more information. So we'll see what happens. Bitcoin, all over the place, right? Is this a head and shoulders top? We've warned folks for a while now. Again, trade around your positions. If you would have sold some on the pops, you can buy dips. And if you're long term, you really need to hold the 26,000 range and confirm you need to get over 31. It's pretty simple. Just trading in a big sloppy range. It does look head and shoulder toppish though. Oil, we talked about 65, 64 area is support. Old support. Bouncing every time we get there. I'm anticipating OPEC to be cutting more supply at some point because they want to sustain an $80 barrel oil. So when the U.S. has to refill the SPR, we are paying more. Sadly enough, oil and gas are going to be pretty choppy. Same thing with natural gas every day. What do you think, Dan? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I think you just leave it the heck alone. All right, the dollar. Let's put out alert today. Watch this range down here, holding the low end of range. TLT, choppy, sloppy, same kind of thing. Hold this range down here. Now, the thing that I keep telling people, though, ultimately is what? The price of the dollar, the bond market, and the bond prices isn't as important as the volatility in it. Like, being choppy, I think the market can handle. It's if stuff starts moving big, either direction, up or down. Because, again, you can interpret it however you want, but the market's going to get unstable when what? The rates start and the dollar start moving big. The VIX, gift down here. Again, watch this 1680 level. Seems to be holding it. VIX, we're telling you, something's building here. The VIX of the VIX. Look at this trend. Again, we need to close over 100. Just can't seem to do it. So, chop continues, sadly. SPY. Doji held the 20-day. Again, 20-month we're at. It's, the monthly chart. It's only May 8th. Who knows what's going to happen? Be careful here. It feels like a novice gap trap. 20-day is key. This is the thing that's I think is hard about the market is people expect everything to happen today. And if you trade long enough, like myself, 20 plus years, not everything happens the day you want. QQQ, again, 20-month, up at the range highs. It doesn't look bad, but remember what you're getting into here. You got a big VAP zone here, especially when you zoom out. You can really see this area matters. People say higher highs, higher lows. I can't argue with that. Just, again, I think it's the best short up here. Because, again, the evidence, as we say, will show. But again, just remember, you can be wrong. IWM hits the 20-day. We talked about it. Backed off. We talked about this area. Look at this. Q's up here. IWM down here. That's a problem. DIA been lagging as well. Under the 20-day. Doesn't look great. Gold. Again, I personally think gold probably is going to take a hit here because the feds aren't pivoting. I will buy gold. I promise you. When the feds decide to pivot and gold's near some sort of pullback lows, I will buy it. It might be higher, it might be lower. I don't know. It's just at this point, I don't know if the risk is worth the reward. I think there's better trades out there. Silver showing similar kind of characteristics, retesting the highs. But, what's next? That's tough to know. I mean, again, if you long it, raise your stops. That's all I would say. I'm not shorting this stuff. GDX, same thing. You got a high, you got a reference. Just keep an eye on it. GDXJ, same thing. But the problem I have with the miners is that as the GDX is retesting highs, GDXJ is lagging. That's red flag to me. AG, thing's been lagging forever. I mean, it should be up here in the nines. AEM. Now, this one is actually leading. Just keep an eye on it, because if it breaks, fake breakout, because again, you can have fake breakouts on the weekly chart. Keep that in mind. Like days of just looks like it's going to break out and then gives it back. Newmont, this is another red flag to me. Like Newmont should be up in like the mid 50s. It's in the upper 40s. Something's wrong here. Lagging. Pass. Like pass on these names. Again, I know a lot of people want to hold them. Like, I don't know. Double top fail. Boom. That's all it is. AM Dizzle. The D. AMD. Put out a little alert, said watch the 91 area, broke out, and then I said, all right, I'm going to start taking some shorts on this up here in this 94, 95 range for some scalps now. Tomorrow, I mean, this feels very, very interesting to me. High volume, kind of blow off. Could it go higher? Of course. Define your risk. And now this is why we layer into trades, but this area matters. If you look at the monthly, weekly, I mean, here I'll show you my favorite formation, the middle finger formation on the monthly is forming. Here you go, 20-month. Can it get over it temporarily? Absolutely. I still think at some point it's going to get crushed on. I mean, all the semis. The glut is growing, not going lower. Taiwan semi, same thing. Holding 200-day, choppy, kind of looks crap. Micron, choppy, looks like crap. Right, can't get over 64. Intel, choppy, looks like crap. Hits trend line, backs off. Now, NVIDIA getting interesting, right? Like, what happened up here? I don't know why it's breaking out, but the volume's late. It's tough to know. Again, I tell people when in doubt, zoom out. I like the short up here. I mean, this area matters, clearly in the 290s. Could it get to 300 temporarily? That always has to be on the back of your mind. You never know. You never, ever, ever know. Adobe, junk. I mean, look at this stuff. M pattern, oversold bounce. Apple now leading up, but getting a little tired. I mean, is this a novice gap trap, multi-day range? Keep that in mind. Amazon, to me, it's just stuck, dead money. I mean, I don't know why anyone want to trade it. CRM, every time it hits 200, doink. Again, now Doji Day, be aware. Keep an eye on what happens tomorrow, because you could have a Doji sandwich. Could it go higher? Yeah, absolutely. Guggenheim, chop, slop, watch the area around 108, 110. Meta, I think this is, again, the novice gap trap. Look how long this is taking. Just like down here at the bottom, gap down, then it turned. Are we about to turn? I think so. Microsoft, you got some gaps up here that need to fill. You filled them on Friday. Ooh, keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. NDAQ, we talked about this lagging forever, because why? The NASDAQ tech stocks volume will be dying here in the next, it's already anticipating, because again, people will not be trading tech. Who wins the tech war? Not tech. MicroStrategy, all over the place. Again, we talked about you could short it probably up here in the 330s, 320s. There you go. Looks like a winner so far. Netflix, surprising this was up today. Gets over the 20-day. Let me drag this over. You can see why this area matters. Keep an eye on that. Because again, if you short it up here and you're chopping around, you might have some like reload entry potential coming up. Roblox, talked about they guided down, said they're stopping giving guidance. Doesn't look good. Tesla, oversold bounce, kind of what I'm thinking here. Not surprised. Now again, watch what happens in this 170s level. I guess you could technically draw like a little trend line here. Could it get up to that? I don't know. When you zoom out, you're at the 50-month. Just keep that in mind. Just 50-month. Check it out. Oh, I didn't do SMH. They got reverse split. Yeah, watch this area here in the 125s. It's so confusing after it's not reverse, but when it splits. It's just tough to, I got to spend some time redrawing. I totally forgot to do that. But, another time. Letter X. Let's get into some materials. Material world. Look at, these things just look like doo-doo. Materials down, economic growth slowing. What do you expect? They all look very similar. I want to buy commodities. I think, again, when the money comes out of tech, because tech is so overly owned, trillions of dollars will go into market cap that only has $1 trillion of exposure, and it'll probably double. A lot of these stocks will go nuts. Caterpillar, again, chop and slop. And again, I would love to see these things get beaten like they are. VALE, same kind of thing. Just let it come on down. Arrow. Now, this one's been holding up. We talked about this is a name, like when we get into the buying season for commodities, I think this will be a buyer because it is, look, holding up better. Now, again, if you're owning it, raise your stops. I'm just talking about a lot of things. CCJ, talk about, can't get over this area. All these names. CF, taking a dive even more today. Love it. I mean, let these ag names, because you got to eat. We got to eat, dog, right? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Mosaic, they all look very similar. Let them come on down. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And if you're thinking like what I'm thinking, it's not a big deal. Like, let them come in. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, man, we're getting some attractive prices. But you never know. You could get even attractive. And this is the thing. I've warned people a million times. When the VIX goes nuts, you're going to see sales on things that you never, ever thought you could see. Just keep that in the back of your cabeza. Here you go. NTR, same kind of thing. Could it get back down here? Who knows? I mean, obviously, it feels like it. AA, again, another economic name of aluminum, just coming back down into the 35s. Man, if this thing had a 22 handle, 20 handle, FXLF, put out an alert today. Watch the short in the 3250s. Yeah, watch. It's a 20-day, 100-day, 50-day. I mean, keep an eye on this. Not 3250s. The mid 32 plus to 30. I mean, I don't know if we'll get back up into the mid 33s, but I mean, I would be looking at references to short. Absolutely. JP Morgan, if you shorted this up in the 142 to 144 area, high five. Little oversold bounce. This is what we talk about, managing your profits. Morgan Stanley, what you got here, right? Well, here you go. Man, little dead cat bounce. They all look very similar, right? Goldman Sachs, little dead cat bounce, right? I mean, there's not a lot to say. I mean, if you want to trade these names, just make sure you're at major reference points. Don't go diving and deep diving in between spots because it could get really frustrating. KRE, again, the juniors, I mean, not surprised. Big volume, capitulation. Maybe it needs needs some exit liquidity. Need to pop it, get some people going, oh, they're a discount. You got to buy this stuff. It's cheap. No. Okay. XBI, as we talked about, filling the gap. Oh, not filling the gap. Sorry, retesting major levels. Tried to fill the gap, chopping. Again, that looks kind of interesting to me. Just if I was looking at shorts. Let's get, I've been trying to pay attention to the transports for folks because, again, they're lagging. They need to get over this area, but they're not, right? Housing has tried to be hot going into the hottest season, but here's the problem, right? Higher interest rates. Like, go watch my video on Denver Metro real estate. The details, the data says we be a slowing rapido. Just people don't like to hear that, but that's kind of what we're seeing. TAN. Let's get into the solar dead cat bounce we talked about. If you shorted up here, I get so many comments every day. You're like, you're an idiot for shorting solar. I'm like, no, you're an idiot if you didn't pay attention to like shorting highs, and now you're buying dips. And I'm telling you right now, solar doesn't bottom when everyone's bullish. Like again, and this is the problem. If commodities pull back, solar loses its value very quickly. It's easily replaceable. And again, solar in general is just, again, I mean, I think it's not going anywhere, but these stocks priced in like perfection. ENPH, we talked about this on this gap down trap, not gap down, but move lower. Like, don't be surprised if it bounces a little bit. I mean, this thing's gone from 340 down to $160. Someone might be down here to buy, and especially if it's what I would consider like value shoppers. But here's the problem, like the monthly, you've broken out of the channel. So, I mean, if you see a decent bounce, you call your Uncle Danny, and you say, hey, what do you think about that EMPH? You want to short it in the 180, 190? Call me. Yeah. Sedgerton, again, like this thing for lower lows at some point. All over the place, right? All these names. First Solar, the leader, the big dog, then lagging, right? We talk about lagging. Base top, gap down, a little over. Again, if market rising, these people are dumb to buy this stuff. We know that. HYG should be going higher if things are stronger. What do you say at this point, right? Like, we could talk about this for hours. We could get into a million different things, but I'm just trying to warn folks, I don't think we're in a position at this point to do a ton. And when I say do a ton, like, look for extremes, right? I mean, I think the market at some point will break. I've said that for weeks, and it just seems to not, but this is the problem here, and this is the solution ultimately. Trade around your positions. Don't be surprised. When it goes, but the market can be more irrational than people think. We try to warn people that all the time. XOP, what's up? Here you go. Talked about it. Failing up here, pulling back. If you were looking to buy and you missed it, I hear that. Again, I think all of this stuff needs to be tabled, left alone. Except if you shorted ExxonMobil, we told you, like, watch the monthly trend line because this thing is yellow. break, fail, talked about it, could do to bounce. Well, look at the 150-day cross. I'd be looking at that. If you wanted to short and you hit it today, maybe you get 2-day range, multi-day range. That would be a gift. Occidental, look at that. I mean, I've been warning folks. Oh, I think you need oil and gas. Look at this thing. It just doesn't look right. That's not what you want to see. Open high, close low. Ay caramba. USO, we talked about oil being oversold due to bounce. Look at that. Not surprised. Natural gas, if you buy UNG, put a bullet in your head. Put a bullet in my head. I'm just tired of talking about it. But, you know, it decays, it decays, it decays. And it's like, let's zoom out. I mean, it kind of looks like UVXY. Right? With some occasional, again, I mean, there are big moves in it. But I'm telling you now, if you ask me before the reverse split, I'm going to say the same thing. Wait for the reverse split. BX Dizzle. Talked about this one constantly being potentially bought out by ExxonMobil. That was the rumor. Well, here we are now. And what is this? I mean, oversold bounce. I mean, again, this is a name I would probably wait on. EQT. Chopping. Not surprised. Flex LNG. I like this name. I think the U.S. is going to be a big exporter of natural gas over time. That's kind of where I'm at. Now, a lot of people are asking questions about specific stocks. Send me your charts. We'll go through them. I mean, there's definitely trades out there. It's just, it's hard to really see. Now, again, individual names can have individual stories, but it's hard for, like, say, for example, like, you think solar and banks are going lower, but if the market starts lifting, are they really going to dump? That's the problem. No, right? So at this point, what do you want to do? Do you want to argue about it? Or you just want to just handle it? Because it is what it is. A lot of people have in their mind that something has to happen right away. And this is the big warning. This is obviously the big warning, right? You just don't know. And when you don't know, you have your reference points. You layer in. You trade around it. Again, everybody likes directional markets. Everybody hates chop. That's where if you can manage expectations through all markets, you're good. You're just absolutely good. But what do you do when it's not? Patience. If you have any questions, please reach out. Check out the Denver Metro real estate video I'm going to drop here. It's interesting. Go look at the data. Like, housing is slowing, especially in this area. I mean, I can't remember real estate ever really slowing here. Now the data is starting to pick up because you're getting more listings. I actually got a listing going live next Wednesday. I'll share it with you guys. It's just, I mean, there are a lot of houses, and maybe again, leave a comment below if you're driving around your neighborhoods and the places you live. Are you seeing for more for sale signs than you saw the previous year? Because I feel like, especially here, we are. Like, you know, I drive around my neighborhood, see, you know, it's this time of year, probably 10, 12 signs. I'm seeing 20, 30, 40 signs, and I'm like, they're like 3 on the same street, not like 1 every other block, right? Like, it's getting a little scary. Now, again, when I say scary, are prices going to collapse? No. I mean, I think what's going to happen naturally is with higher interest rates, prices are going to find the equilibrium to affordability. So if you have higher end stuff, probably got less buyers. If you got a lower end, and I mean lower end, you get, like, every market's different. It probably doesn't have much downside because, again, that's if the affordability matters. And so it's the medium and the medium high end stuff that I think is going to probably take the bigger baths initially. Now, again, vacation homes, we'll see. All right, if you have any questions, please reach out. You know where to find me. Always here to help. I appreciate all the love, support, the donations. Please continue studying. Do not get complacent in this market because, again, if you're getting frustrated with how the market's reacting, then you don't know the past, because that's the problem here. And that's why sometimes some days there's not a lot to say. People want to come out here and want to say, hey, can you tell us something great about what's going to happen? Well, I can tell you Monday usually can kind of suck in the May time frame. We need Tuesday to really show us what the direction is going to be. And then, honestly, Tuesday might be a turnaround-ish day, but then you got the CPI on Wednesday and PPI on Thursday. So after the jobs report, I mean, it's tough to know. I mean, the Feds are in a pickle. I was talking to this with a friend of mine. Like, what are the Feds going to do? They raise rates to kill inflation. They kill the economy. They lower rates, inflation goes, and people go crazy, and the economy could still crash because, again, wages aren't going up. I mean, literally, they're in the worst-case scenario, but that's what happens when you keep rates.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.